And if we're wanting motivation and discipline, quote unquote, to go do something that we don't feel like doing, that we don't internally have the drive to do, well, that means right now there's no rational reason to be doing it, and we're just slave labor forcing ourselves to do it. So don't do it. Hello, Anderson Nation. Welcome to season 4, episode whatever we are now. I've lost track. It's because I'm rushing. I'm always rushing, which is a good seg into our episode today on discipline and doing what you know you're supposed to be doing, or something like that. But first, I owe an apology. I owe an apology to Giancarlo. Last episode, I mistakenly dedicated it to Lance a second time. Lance got 2 episodes in a row. Lance, you got 2, buddy. 2. You're welcome. And Giancarlo, I'm sorry. I did answer your question last episode, so hopefully you did get your answer. I just didn't put your Instagram handle up on there, so I'll make it up to you. I will set you up next episode with another special one. I got you, buddy. Also, very quickly, the road trip is still on. There's a third person that reached out that I might be meeting along the way. So we'll see what ends up happening, how many people I end up meeting. The universe is writing its script. I'm just curious to find out how it's going to end up. Now let's get right into the episode. The question today is from one lonely recruit who wanted me to do an episode on discipline. So I'm going to share my little trick. But first, why don't we look at what some of our ancients tell us? And yes, it would be so easy to pull out a Marcus Aurelius quote here because he's the one that was all about discipline and strength and temperance. But that's not what we do here, right? The whole thing, obstacle is the way. I hate using that because that sophist coined the term, but he doesn't own it. Obstacle is the way is a Stoic concept. Whatever is blocking your way becomes the way because you have to pass it anyway. You have to get through it anyway. There's no other way. But this one we know already. I'm going to go a different route as I usually like doing because I'm looking for true wisdom, not some hoity-toity quote that's going to give me motivation for a few minutes. Today I'm reaching way back to Seneca when he writes to Lucilius about managing his own angst and consternation. This is a simple quote from his Usefulness of Basic Principles, and it's from the very last paragraph. Seneca writes, "How lamentable do those who cover glory fail to understand what glory is or in what way it should be sought. We chase after things and will work really hard to get them, but we never stop to consider, hey, should I be chasing this? Should I be doing this?" You guys hear me say this all the time. A Stoic should never do what they don't want to do. But we are all so very guilty of always doing things we don't want to. And that's when we end up in this conundrum of, how can I find motivation to do this, even though I don't want to do this? The simple answer is, well, you don't. Life is too short to force yourself to do anything you don't want to. However, I bet you most of what you do in your regular day are things that you want to do. You've just forgotten it. You've forgotten it and you've made a mistake. Pain is for certain. Suffering is optional. When we forget this, we commit the cardinal sin. The same way Seneca is reminding his friend Lucilius that no one's done anything to him, it is himself and his pursuit of nonsensical externals that's causing his angst. Want not, suffer not. It's that simple. And if we're wanting motivation and discipline, quote unquote, to go do something that we don't feel like doing, that we don't internally have the drive to do, well, that means right now there's no rational reason to be doing it, and we're just slave labor forcing ourselves to do it. So don't do it. Instead, remember, no one can give you better advice than your own rational mind. If you can't find motivation to do something, and you have this sense that you should be, grab a pen, grab a paper, write down why you should be doing it. As you do this, you will remember why you wanted to in the first place, what the value added is, and then immediately you will inherently find the motivation, if I can call it that, to go do it. It's not really motivation, it's just you decide at this point in space and time that it is important enough for you to prioritize in your actions. That's all it is. That's all it is. We have to admit to ourselves that we're wrong. We have forgotten something. In this case, we've forgotten that things are not supposed to work out the way we would like them to. They're not supposed to be convenient for us. Things just happen. And we are supposed to find our way through this jumbled mess. There's no book that's going to tell you what to do, when to do it. There's no one that can tell you you should be doing this now, therefore go find the motivation. No. Go find your purpose. Go find what you want to do. Your opinion matters. Your time matters. Your time is passing you by. Your time is very important. Choose how you want to spend your time. You should be choosing how you want to spend your time. Nobody else. So I hope that gives you some ideas and precepts to meditate on. And let me know if you come up with something of your own. I'd be curious to hear. Remember, guys, you can do anything you want to, as long as you want to. He who has a why can deal with any how. Life is easy, and you can do it if you are focused on your necessities. You can do it. I'm rooting for you.